everyone, how are you? This is Taryn, and it is September 23rd. I waited till after the Fed meeting before I even did this video. I know I've been doing the videos later in the month. Just so you know, I do listen to quite a few people, Bigger Pockets, Ox Talks. I watch Michael Bordenero. I just like the way he walks all the time. He's always in a sunny place, and a few other people. Other than that, I just try to stay away from the clickbait. So right now, the biggest news is that the Fed actually made a rate cut. They dropped it 25 basis points. However, the mortgage rates did dip prior to that. And always remember, just because it cut the Fed rate doesn't mean they're going to cut the mortgage rate, because the mortgage rate can go up. And that's going to be based on the 10-year Treasury yield. And it takes into account inflation and the different things of the market and everything that's going on. So let me share my screen with you. Okay. And I'm going to go right over here. I'll drop me down here. So, hi, you can see me. So the 30-year fix, they currently, Freddie Mac has it at 6.26%. Other mortgage rates have it at 6.35, but basically the range right now is anywhere from like a little bit over 6 up to 6.5. It depends on your lender, loan type, and your financial profile. Okay. So for example, you can see the 15-year fix is lower. And I'm going to go over here here we go. Now, do you see where you have the FHA is lower? Right here, and the VA is lower. You can look down here and look, whoa, check those out. Look at the mortgage trends. Very interesting, isn't it? So let me stop my share right now, and let me talk a little bit about what's going on. And yes, I got my notes in front of me, so if I look down, I'm reading notes. I can't memorize all this stuff, and I'm not great with the teleprompter, looking and trying to figure out what it's saying to me. So nationally, inventory is up. More houses are on the market. Days on the market is longer. What we're seeing when you look at the map, places like Texas and Florida, they're in these different areas have different upheavals. Not all of Florida is not all of Texas, but there's certain parts that were like super, super popular where prices really spiked up because too many people are coming in, pushing all those prices up, and now a bunch of people are moving out and prices are coming down. So the more inventory makes it for a more even market, and that's kind of evening out the market. In the Northeast and the Midwest, so we're in the Midwest, prices are still rising. I mean, we're still increasing, not at an extreme rate, but at a doable rate. So basically, if you buy something, you are still increasing value. And those days of, oh, the market's going to crash so bad, I call it more of a price correction. In order to really bring prices down enough to make it more affordable, you would really have to bring the prices down a lot lower. And it takes time in a housing market. Remember, it is very cyclical. Prices go up, prices go down. Some places, they tend to stay higher. They might go down a little bit, but they come up. That is just the way of how it works. One of the factors that I found interesting about why the Midwest and the Northeast don't really have as much building as we'll say down in Florida or Texas or other places do is because the permitting time takes way longer. There's a lot more government red tape. Not surprising. And builders right now in some areas are doing lots of incentives and they're offering buy downs in the rates. And these aren't even being taken into account when they're doing all these stats and stuff. Overall, what the truth is, affordability is a problem. And this is nationwide. Basically, because of the higher prices, you're going to get higher property taxes. And the insurance companies are refiguring, gee, what is it going to cost for a replacement value? And I don't need to tell you, you guys go to the store, you go out and buy stuff, everything has gone up. And we've had a lot of inflation. And it's not like the prices have deflated. Cost of home ownership costs money. So it isn't just, it's not just a P&I. I mean, it helps that the interest rates, if they can come down, will come down. So the Fed, they lowered the lending rate 25 basis points, which is a quarter point, and they're talking about two more possible rate cuts, and they're going to watch what's going on. So if you have another one in November, so that's the next meeting, and then another one in December, if we had two more cuts, we'll say 25 each, that would be another half a basis, 50 basis points. That would bring us down into the mid fives. And that would help out tremendously. That would also refinancing. So those of you in the higher loan rates could refinance your house and it would be worth your time to do so. Of course, 65, what is it? Let me say this again. So right now, home loans right now, 65% of them are at 4.5% or less right now. So one of the things that we've seen nationally is sellers will put their houses on the market to sell. And if it doesn't sell, they might take a price cut. And if they still don't sell, a lot of them are just pulling it off the market and saying, if I can't get a good price, I am not selling because they're at a low rate. Some of them are turning them into rentals. Depends on where they're at. They're saying, and this did happen when people had some buyer remorse. They said, well, I bought the house so cheap. I was going to rent it out and use it as rental property. A lot of people sold it. So you can pull it off the market and wait till spring. I don't know what spring's going to do. I don't have a crystal ball. I know that housing moves slowly, but it can move in a way, it can move in a different direction, or you could have more on the market, more houses on the market. So there's a little bit more for people to choose from. So that doesn't mean, so buyers have to be really cautious about where they buy and they have to really look at what it's going to cost them to own a home. So let's take a look at Michigan. So I'm going to show you this Redfin report. You've got your medium sales price, which is 287, give or take that. It's smaller of the prices. We have the sales volume is down a little bit, the number of homes sold down. We still have low inventory. Month supply is only 2 months. So we're kind of out of the seller's market. We're not in a buyer's market. Buyer's market usually starts around 4 months to 5 months. That's more of a buyer's market. We have 30 days on the market until it goes under contract. That's 29 days. So right now, of all the houses that go on the market, about 33% sell for over asking, sale above list price. Homes with price drops, at least one price reduction, about 33%, which isn't surprising. Quite often people start at a little bit higher price and give it a week or so, and then they say, knock it down. And sales to list price ratio, pretty much what they put out there is what they're getting. So that's not bad at all. So let's take a look at Ann Arbor and the metro. So let me find this. And I'm just going to pull up the Ann Arbor School District report for you. And 576 right here, median sale price is 576. And that's about right. I would say so. I mean, you can come under 600,000. I would say easily 575. It's probably closer to 6. Depending on the home. And we are also seeing percent of list price received here. Days on market 27. Houses that are in move-in ready condition, well taken care of, great area that people want, they're getting over asking. We're seeing them go under contract within 7 days, and we're seeing them get over asking price. And that works out to about, again, 33% of the home sales. There's a huge demand for Ann Arbor because of the area. So we're really lucky to be in a wonderful area with the high tech, with the hospitals and everything. And we have, so what are the other places to consider? You've got nearby Dexter. You've got Scioto Township, which is still, a lot of it could be a Dexter address. It could be an Ann Arbor address. And it's lower property taxes. Pittsville's very popular, lower taxes. You got Ann Arbor Township. We even go now, if you go into Ypsilanti Township, so you got Superior Township, a lot of people are moving there, and you got much lower taxes. So part of your homework is, where can I move to? Buyers today realize it's not just the P&I, the principal and interest. It's your property taxes, and your property taxes will go up every year because they base it when you buy a house, they use a millage rate, you get a homestead. then you're locked in, and then you're limited to the rate of inflation or 5%, whichever one is less. Every year they reassess the value of your home. So always look at property taxes. How much are you paying? So one of the things that I say is expand your search. Take a look at Saline. Take a look at Dexter Township, because I know that Dexter, that is almost equal to Ann Arbor, the cost of property taxes. So go into Dexter Township, go into Ypsi Township, and also why don't you take a map and maybe even consider Brighton, because Brighton Township has got great stuff. You've got Milan to the south. You've got Belleville off to the east. You've got Whitmore Lake up north, and that's not that far away. It's on 23. I'm not a huge fan of 23. Oh my gosh. You have to almost time out the day you go up and down 23. And those of you that drive it know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're going to focus, whatever you do when you buy, you're going to focus on your price. You're going to focus on the condition of the property taxes. You're going to look at your commute time, and you're going to have to look at long term making that commute. The long term, you're going to look at property taxes, knowing they're going to be going up every year, and the cost of maintenance. So, and you always buy location because you have to look at the resale possibility. So as long as you're planning to be in a home 5 years or more, wherever you buy, definitely consider. If you're not, I would say rent. That's just me. So you can decide what you want to do. I'm going to stop the share here. And you know what? I am not going to stop the share. I got one more thing to share for you because I'm going to show you something. This is something that you would like. Seriously, I downloaded this. Here we go. Millage rates, 176 pages. I downloaded this from all the property tax rates in the state of Michigan. I have the 2024 rates. Of course, the 2025 are slightly above. And you can always call and ask the municipality the exact millage rate because taxes are based on millage rates. You always want to know if there's any special assessments. So total millage for principal residence. So when you buy a house, you can only claim one principal residence. Look at these county, and you can go and it shows you the school district, and I will show you. So if there's more than one school, you're going to see the different rates. So like here, they got different rates for the schools. Here they've got like 3 different schools. So there's 3 different millages. So you could literally go in here. You could set something up in an Excel spreadsheet, stick it in there, and see what you're going to pay. And you can start shopping around and say, wow, rather than living in a city, I'll live in a township, or you'll have township next to each other. If I go here, it's a lot cheaper. For example, Milan. Milan has Washtenaw County on the top, Monroe on the bottom. Guess which one is cheaper? Monroe. So a lot of people will think, gee, I think I will go with that. So you have to really do your homework, work with your realtor, know your numbers, and know what you can afford. And sellers, the best thing I can tell you is take care of everything. You don't have to start doing all the upgrades, but right now, sellers are prepping their house for spring. I have sellers that are prepping their house right now for the spring. They're getting all the exterior stuff done now, and we're actually taking pictures while it's pretty out. Even with the fall coming, we're doing the exterior pictures ready for the spring so we don't have the winter pictures, you know what I mean? Winter isn't always exciting here in Michigan now, is it? So if you want any of this information, housing reports, anything, I think I'll attach the housing report. But if you want the individual school district ones, please reach out to me. I'm not just uploading them every time. And that anything that can help you out. If you'd like to have that millage sheet, I can shoot that over to you in a PDF, no problem. And I'm always here for you. And I will see you on the next video.